Hey guys, Dan Heilman here, and this is going to be another Summoner's Glory / Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I am going to compare and contrast the differences, pros and cons between Raid Shadow Legends and Summoner's Glory. They're kind of in completely different life cycles, so right now Summoner's Glory has not even been globally launched. So there's a much smaller player base on Summoner's Glory, and Raid Shadow Legends has been around 2 years and a couple months. They just had their 2-year event a month or two ago. So it's kind of apples and oranges, but I'll do my best to kind of compare some aspects between the two games. Both of the games, I believe, are based on Summoner's War, which is, I think, the original gacha game made by Com2uS. That game has been around about 7 years, and both of these games are spin-offs from that game. So all right, let's just dive right into it. So first, I'll just want to talk about like server stability. Summoner's Glory, this game. BlueStacks, you just failed me yet again. All right, so as we can see already, Raid Shadow Legends actually does advertising. So currently, Summoner's Glory does absolutely no advertising. You just saw that Raid Shadow Legends ad as I opened up BlueStacks. So the first big difference between Raid Shadow Legends and Summoner's Glory is Raid Shadow Legends actually has a desktop app, and I'm actually able to play using their desktop app. I don't have to use an emulator like BlueStacks or LD Player. LD Player I have in the top right, BlueStacks I have here. So the first thing you'll notice is when I log into Summoner's Glory, I will only get one pop-up. Sometimes when I log into Raid Shadow Legends, if I haven't logged in a day or two, I might get 20 pop-ups or 10 pop-ups. It's like when you go to a porn site and you accidentally get a pop-up and you try to close it and it just keeps on popping up repeatedly and you're like, oh my god, close, 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 close. Anyways, you don't get as many pop-ups in this game. I actually just got that one for this time-limited gift. Not a huge deal breaker. The only reason I mentioned it is because if you have a poor internet connection, like if you're on your phone trying to play Raid Shadow Legends and you log in and you have a poor internet connection, it might take you 20 minutes to get through the pop-ups. That has happened to me, but that's only if you have a very, very poor internet connection. Like if you're trying to play, at work or something, you don't have a good internet connection. But overall, I find Raid Shadow Legends to be a little bit more stable than Summoner's Glory, but it's also because I'm on server 1 on Summoner's Glory. If I was on one of the lesser servers, like server 2, 3, or 4, I wouldn't have a lot of lag issues. I think that will be fixed over time. I'd like to be able to look forward in, a year and see where Summoner's Glory is at. But the main difference between these two is Summoner's Glory it has a world, kind of like World of Warcraft. You have a map. You can run around in different zones and you can do things without having energy. Like I can go to a zone over here and I can farm enemies without having any energy or vigor. Vigor is the equivalent of energy. So I can go here, I can aggro mobs and kill them without using anything. And you can't run around in Raid Shadow Legends. You just can go do different things here. So there's enemies in the world in Summoner's Glory, which they do not have in Raid Shadow Legends. See, they show these little red dots and there's people you can attack and kill, just in the regular world here. So that is the biggest difference between the two games. They both have auto functions, obviously. You can change the speed. You can play on manual. You can do this in both these games. So they're similar in that way. But this one, you obviously only have town here. And I should probably move myself over here so I'm not in the way as much. Anyways, so that's kind of some of the differences. Obviously, there's more events and tournaments and fusion type things. So there's fusion events here, which are honestly kind of a pain, and I stopped doing them because it feels like a job to me. Especially when you are trying to do champion training events. I just despise champion training events. I gave up on this fusion here just because they had a pull shard event. And I had already used my pull shards on a 10 times void event trying to get Maneater. I still don't have a Maneater on my main account. I've pulled, a trillion void shards. I have plenty of void legendaries, but I've never pulled a man-eater, and I don't think I ever will. I have man-eaters on all my alt accounts, my free-to-play alt accounts. I have man-eaters galore on those, but my main account, I don't think I will ever be able to get a man-eater as long as I live. So I stopped doing fusions. They're hundreds of hours of work. It just seems like a job to me. Yeah, like fusions are awesome, but they're just so much work. So here's an fusion event. You have to build up champions, or they have the fragment collector events, which is another type of summon here. You know, you have these fragment collector events. This is the current one. I kind of gave up because I would have had to spend money to be able to complete the event, because I pulled all my shards trying to get a man-eater. So the fusion events for this game are a little bit different. So how the fusion events work for Summoner's Glory is basically they will have the shop here, and they will have a phantom in the crystal shop. They'll have someone, they just had a King Arthur event. Before that, they had a Goddess Zoe event. And basically, they'll put a brand new, sometimes reworked phantom in the shop, and you'll be able to buy it for 5 crystals. So basically what you do is you pull shards to get crystals. You need to get 300 pulls. So epic pulls count as 6, gold books count as 1. So you'll need to save up 5 crystals, and then you can just purchase the phantom. So that's how they do fusion type events in Summoner's Glory. A lot less work than in here. This one, I mean, it's like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of grinding to be able to get fusions. And I can't stand champion training events. There is obviously a lot more events in this game though, so that's cool. You know, there's lots of different events going on. There's the dragon event coming up soon where you can get speed gear. So yeah, that's cool. Now let me talk about, so like Great Hall here, you can build up these medals. And they give you stats for all of your different phantoms. Kind of similar here. The comparison here is the mastery. So a mastery test gives you stats for all of your phantoms and your character. In Summoner's Glory, you have a character and you have phantoms. So you have a character that you can actually put gear on, shown here. And then you actually have, let me get away from this guy. You also have phantoms. So you have your phantoms. You can have 4 phantoms in your team. And then you can have your 1 summoner or character. So a little bit different there, but kind of the similar. As far as actually putting gear on characters, you kind of have the same thing. So in this game, Summoner's Glory, you have these runes here, which is basically like your gear. And they have stats, you know, you can roll speed only in this certain slot. You can only roll crit in this slot. Cool thing in Summoner's Glory, you can actually roll crit with crit substats, which is kind of cool. No accessories, you know, neck pieces, rings, banners. Obviously in this game you have gear right here, so kind of similar. You also can get skill ups in this game just like you can in this game. You have skill ups here that do the same thing. The big difference is you don't get reduced cooldown. You basically only get damage when you skill up people in Summoner's Glory. So that's a little bit different. I feel like it's a little bit easier to use phantoms that aren't skilled up in this game than it is to use champions in this game without books. You don't have anything like this mastery in Summoner's Glory, at least right now. Kind of what you have in place is this amity, where you basically chat with your phantom and learn more about them, and you basically get a % scaling on all their base stats. You do have skins in this game. So I have a skin on this girl here. You know, you can get different skins that you can put on people that make them look different. You cannot get any sort of skins in this game here. So that is one cool thing about Summoner's Glory that they don't have in Raid Shadow Legends. Another huge difference between the two games is you can play multiplayer in Summoner's Glory. So you have this thing called a squad, you can invite other people, and you can do instances and stuff with them, which is kind of cool. You don't have any sort of instances in this game here. Everything is you go into, you know, let's see if I want to go to a dungeon and I want to do spider. There's a spider event right now. So basically you go in here and these guys are full, so let me put some food in here randomly. You can throw some people in here and you just do a dungeon, right? So a dungeon just is all auto. Sometimes you'll have a couple waves and then the boss, or spider, you just have a boss with a bunch of minions. So in this game, Summoner's Glory, dungeons are very different. So let me just kind of show you what a dungeon looks like. So if I want to go do a dungeon, they're very different. You can run around. There's enemies you can avoid. It's more like World of Warcraft. Summoner's Glory is like, you know, World of Warcraft and Raid Shadow Legends had a baby together and made this game. So here, I can go inside an instance and I can run around. And there's trash mobs. You know, I can actually physically control, or I can hit this auto button in the bottom left and it'll automatically complete everything for me. So you see there's different enemies. So there's a big difference between dungeons in Summoner's Glory and Raid Shadow Legends. Very different. And I like the team aspect of Summoner's Glory. You know, I can help carry someone through a dungeon and get gear for them. You know, people can help me. I can play with friends. I can do a bunch of different things there. So that's a cool aspect of this game. You know, and there's bosses. So I can go through here and I can basically get boss loot chests from the bosses, and then they'll give me different gear that I can use on my character. So you can go up here, you can aggro a boss, kill that boss, and get some loot at the end of it. So a little bit different there. While these are finishing, I will talk about support and stuff. So I have had some huge issues with the Plarium Play desktop app. Sometimes it won't work for me for like weeks at a time. And if I go on to the Raid Shadow Legend Discord and try to get help, every time they just tell me, oh, you have to use a VPN to use the desktop app. And it's like, I don't want to use a VPN. Is there anything else I can try? So sometimes there's weeks at a time that I'm unable to use the Plarium desktop app. And I've had trouble getting support through the Discord. You know, people will give me some generic response, and if I have trouble with Summoner's Glory and I go on the Discord, you can see all the loot I just got from that boss there. The loot comes into these, basically these little chests, and you get some loot when you open them. Like that. So a little bit different than the other game. But let's get back to support. So if I'm in Summoner's Glory, it's a much smaller game. If I'm saying I'm having trouble, a support agent will actually whisper me, have a full conversation with me, and actually try to help me. In Raid Shadow Legends, they just kind of just pawn me off and say, figure it out yourself, right? So a little bit different, but I don't know if that's going to change over time. Obviously, Raid Shadow Legends has 10 million downloads, and Summoner's Glory has like 5,000 downloads. So it's hard to compare support just because of, you know, just the sheer amount of players. Another thing is, I feel like Raid Shadow Legends does a very good job about promoting new content. They actually tell people what's going on in the game. In Summoner's Glory, you know, they don't meet any of their timelines. So they'll say a patch is coming in February, and we just finally got the patch a couple weeks ago. You know, so it's 3 months delayed. No really updates about it. So they're not very transparent. Unfortunately, the developers of Summoner's Glory are Chinese. So there's some sort of language barrier. And basically what happens is we're, the customers, even content creators, are kind of kept in the dark for Summoner's Glory. And I know that Raid Shadow Legends does a really good job of giving the creators info ahead of time. There's a test server where content creators can go through and test all the different stuff going on. So there's some big differences in how transparent the company is, and, you know, giving updates on stuff. You know, there's a channel, a YouTube channel for Raid Shadow Legends, and they'll go through like what's coming up, upcoming things, and actually give people updates, which is cool. I wish they did that for Summoner's Glory. Let's talk about graphics. So if I look at Raid Shadow Legends here, if I pop open, you know, some of the characters, the graphics are really amazing. I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends for a year and some change. I was super obsessed with the game. Not until Summoner's Glory came out. And then once Summoner's Glory came out, I've kind of switched over, but I still do all the daily content in Raid Shadow Legends. So the graphics, I mean, they do an amazing job. They really do. I mean, look at all the shading, the backgrounds, very cool. If I come over here and look at my characters, you can kind of tell the difference. Obviously, this game hasn't been around as long as Raid Shadow Legends, so there's some improvement to go. But I have played other games like Dragon Champions, and I just don't like the cartoony animations. I really couldn't get into Dragon Champions just because it's so cartoony, kind of like how Summoner's War is too. I feel like these two games have much better graphics than games like Dragon Champions or Summoner's War. So I just want to point out the graphics. What else is different? What else is different? In Raid Shadow Legends, legendary champions are very hard to get. You know, you got to pull hundreds of shards, and you can finally get these legendary champions, especially these Void legendary champions. I mean, they are so hard to get. You know, I have a bunch of legendaries in this game. I have spent a lot more money in Raid Shadow Legends than I have in Summoner's Glory. I feel like you get a lot more bang for your buck in Summoner's Glory than you do in Raid Shadow Legends. There's some amazing packs in here, right? So in Summoner's Glory, they have these crazy rebate cards where you can get permanent rewards for literally your whole life. I mean, look at this. 10,000 days in a row. You get basically what is equivalent of an ancient shard in Raid Shadow Legends. So your money goes a lot further. You get all these things. This is like a gem pack. You get a lot of gems every day for 10,000 days. And the packs themselves, I feel like, are pretty good value. The only thing is actually skill ups in Summoner's Glory are even harder to get than in Raid Shadow Legends, which is surprising. I didn't think they could be any more expensive because legendary books are so expensive in this game. But you also need a lot more of them, right? So look how many legendaries I have. I mean, I need like 1 trillion legendary books, and legendary books are hundreds of dollars, you know? So if I wanted to max all of these champions, I mean, I need like $10,000 just in legendary books. It's obviously an exaggeration, but you get my point. And just the sheer amount of legendaries in the game right now. I mean, look how many I have in here, not even including my vault. You know, in the vault, we have all these other champions, legendaries everywhere, you know, multiple copies of all these epics. I mean, just look at the amount of champions in this game compared to, you know, Summoner's Glory. You only have, you know, X amount of phantoms here. So just that alone, there's a lot more champions in Raid Shadow Legends than there is in Summoner's Glory. In this game, you know, right now there's not as many champions in the game. So legendary champions, there's only like, I don't know, 10. So basically 5-star in this game is equivalent to legendary champions in this game. And then 4 stars, you know, down here are like epics. And then 3 stars are like rares, and then 2 stars are like uncommon. So kind of similar system for rarity in this game. But it's easy to get all of the phantoms in this game, which is kind of cool. So the hardest one to get is Goddess Zoe and King Arthur, but if you did the fusions, or they call them just the events here, where you buy them with crystals, then you can get all these phantoms. You know, phantoms is what they call them in this game. They're called champions in this game, so phantoms and champions are kind of interchangeable. But I do find it's much easier to get the overpowered champions in this game, Summoner's Glory, than it is in Raid Shadow Legends. Like, I don't have a man-eater. It's just an epic champion. I've pulled thousands and thousands of void shards, and I have not pulled a man-eater, so I can't even do an unkillable clan boss team. And it's very limiting in this game. You know, in this game here, I have basically every phantom in the game. I do have every phantom in the game. So it's much easier for me to get all the phantoms. You know, this may change with time as they add more and more and more and more phantoms here. They may water down the pool and they may be harder to get, but it is much easier to get phantoms in this game, but it is much harder to max out phantoms in this game. It takes a very long time to get them to max level. So max level is 200. That requires an Evo 8. The amount of time and resources it takes to make an Evo 8 is very, very long. In this game, I can buy a pack for $30, max out a champion in 10 minutes, and be done with it. So that is much different. Much different. What else is different? Let's talk about some of the other aspects. So for this game, you have to use an auto clicker, something like BlueStacks, or the built-in feature. There is a built-in feature for doing auto runs, but you have to have it up on the screen running the whole time. In this game, you have something called the Battle Assistant. So I can put in all of these runs in here, and they can run in the background. I don't even have to have the game open. So this is a huge improvement over Raid Shadow Legends. I love being able to do passive stuff in the Battle Assistant. Very cool. I really enjoy that stuff. I've been playing since December this game, and I've been playing a year and a couple months this game here. Arena is much more competitive in Raid Shadow Legends than it is in Summoner's Glory. Summoner's Glory, I could be rank 300, and if I beat the rank 2 person, I just take his rank. So it's a lot easier to rank up in Summoner's Glory. And resistance is not really working in the game right now. So Arena doesn't have very good rewards. The rewards from Arena in this game are much better. Stuff like Clan Boss, you know, you can get skill books and stuff like that from Clan Boss. So that's cool. The guild boss in Summoner's Glory is not really working yet. They need to fix it. It doesn't really give good rewards. You can only attack it a couple times and then you kill it. It doesn't have infinite health. Kind of like Raid Shadow Legends back in the day. So Raid Shadow Legends was the same back in the day. Clan boss only had a certain amount of health. Once you killed it, you could basically no longer attack it. They have Doom Tower in this game, which resets weekly. And that's kind of similar to Demon Tower in this game. So Demon Tower in this game, you beat and you get rewards, but it never resets. So I have the Demon Tower. I can't even try these other levels that I've already beaten. So they're kind of similar. I wish they would reset the Demon Tower and have solid rewards in them. What else? Oh, summoning. You know, when you summon shards or books, they call them books in this game, this epic one pulls up and basically people can assist you. So it's kind of cool, more team play. So usually you go to one place and you pull books. So if I go to the blacksmith, I can pull books and then people will help me summon. I will get increased rates and they will get a gold summoning book, which are actually pretty useful. So all I do is I come over here. You can see one right here. I can help him summon this book. Maybe not. Okay. So I can help him summon, and then I will get a gold book in return. So kind of cool. So I like the team aspect of Summoner's Glory. There's nothing really like that in Raid Shadow Legends. What else? What else? I could talk for hours and hours on this. It's already getting kind of a long video, but you kind of are getting the point. There's definitely some differences between the two games. And I enjoy them both, honestly. I made a rant video a while ago on Raid Shadow Legends because I was super annoyed with the way they did one of the fusions. And I wasn't alone. Raid Shadow Legends has been making some questionable decisions, and it honestly sometimes turns into a job for me. You know, I just like the amount of daily content in Raid Shadow Legends is kind of crazy. You know, it's like 4 or 5 hours of content. If I want to clear everything, if I want to use if I want to do all the 3v3 battles, if I want to do everything, it takes hours and hours in this game. In Summoner's Glory, if I want to complete all the daily content, it maybe takes me 2 hours. So a little bit less of an investment in Summoner's Glory than in Raid Shadow Legends. But, okay, I'll leave it at that for now. Go down there, comment below. What do you think? You know, for those of you who have played both games, what do you like about one? What do you not like about the other? Let me know. I'd love to see your feedback down below. And smash that like button while you're down there. Help me with that YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All right. See you guys. Have a good day.